This is the part no one tells you when they open up a store, like, oh man, I'm looking forward to sleeping in the parking lot of, air cargo. So, hey everyone, Corey from Aquarium Co-op. Today, another unboxing, but first, I gotta go to the airport. It is 11:23 at night. My plane just landed, as you can see here. It was scheduled to arrive at 10 p.m. It arrived 11 p.m. and now it is 11:23 p.m. So they technically have 2 more hours they can take to unload the plane, but I'm gonna try and get there at about midnight, and hopefully they'll be done unpacking because it's supposed to snow and stuff like that. And I hope it doesn't. I kind of just want to get there, get all the stuff I gotta get, and get back here. So we'll see what comes of it. Hopefully everything's doing okay. Delays, never good. Well, we're here. It's about 11:15 at this point, so it took me about 50 minutes to get here or something like that. And the plane hasn't been unloaded yet. They say it takes at least 2 hours. They've got my phone number. My light just went out. They got my phone number and they'll call me. So now I kind of just kick back, maybe try to sleep a little bit, maybe listen to a podcast. Here we are, late at night, back to the shop. Time to unload. It's going to be a long one. Alright, we're inside. I should probably take my jacket off, but I haven't yet. And let's take a look at the box. And I just cut it open, haven't opened it yet, but hopefully everything comes out good. It's cold. It is cold out. So what do we see? These tiny shrimp or these tiny fish? Let's take a look here. Tiny fish. My God, what are these? Oh, these have got to be like, what did I order that would be this small? I did not anticipate them being this small. I think this is lemon tetras, maybe. I ordered them pretty small, but this is like crazy small. No, those got to be the celestial pearl Danios, I think. I'll have to see, but those are so small, like literally so small. So those, I might have to grow these out at home for like a couple months. Ooh, cold. Cold, cold, cold. Alright, well, might have to get a tank ready once we get back to the facility, because that's just a lot smaller than anticipated. Let's see, looks like fish over here as well, loose fish. Alright, here's lemon yellow tetras. So these, that's a size I can live with. I know I ordered the smallest size available. Those are definitely lemon tetras, and I think I only got lemon tetras and celestial pearl Danios, but like these guys are like barely off of brine shrimp type of deal. So man, that's gonna be brutal to raise up. I'm gonna have to start hatching out brine shrimp tomorrow to get these guys growing. What I'll have to do is I'll have to use that, and I'll have to bring home a bunch of, I've already got the Cyclops cubes at home, but I'll need baby brine as well, and just see if I can't raise those guys, because that's just, I don't know. I mean, I can't tell you the price I paid for those, but you guys would be shocked at how much I paid for a fish that small. That's brutal. Anyway, let's take a look at the shrimp. Hopefully they're doing okay. These are, looks like the tiger shrimp. And it looks like they're doing okay so far. Is there a moss ball in there? Oh no, it's like a carbon packet to absorb anything. So water's cold. Should be, I think, 200 tiger shrimp. They're floating on whatever this mesh stuff is in there. And then I think it's 300 tiger shrimp. And then should be 200 fire red, or no, super red cherry shrimp. So we'll see what that looks like. Try not to knock everything over here. Well, so far, doesn't look like much because I'm running out of room. but a few deaths already. But, oh well. Unfortunately, I keep counting more and more dead. And I know you guys can't see very well, because I can't even see very well. And see, if I can't see through a bag, how you guys are going to see it on camera, but I don't know, I'm showing a lot of dead in there already. Can you guys see that at all yet? Yeah, that just looks like a pile of dead there. Well, all I can do is let them get room temp. I'm going to get these yellow lemon tetras. I don't know why I keep calling them yellow, I guess I'm just tired. Get the lemon tetras out and get them going. Then I'll get these shrimp to the facility. And these guys, unfortunately, you can see right there, dead fish. So the biggest size one, not doing so hot. You can see more dead ones down there. This is just, you know, I'm not going to say a total disappointment because they're not all dead, but not that good. And then over here there's an insane amount of plants. But my employees will unpack that in the morning. So, alright, I'm going to set the camera down and start getting some of the stuff moving and hopefully get home and get this stuff out of the bag. So I just realized something pretty irritating. They're so cold because there's no heat packs in the box. Just checked the invoice. I've been charged for heat packs, but there are none in the box. So that's just clearly not good. Yeah. So just got to kind of deal with that, right? You know, it's not optimal. You know, it's gonna snow outside, but what are you gonna do? So let's take a look. We've got the lemon tetras down here, and you know, they're definitely colder, but not. Yeah, I don't know if I have any way to test temp without. Well, I should have a thermometer here. Where's my thermometer at? Survey says there's usually one kicking around. I'm going to find one and I'm going to see how far off we are. So I found a thermometer, and it appears that we're at, I don't know if it's going to focus in on that for you, but we're at about 63 degrees or so. So it's definitely cold in there. And you know, I'm going to add water and basically acclimate them a little bit. I think I've got to at this point, because this is going to be, you know, probably 73 at least. And well, you know, normally I would just put them in, but I don't want to shock them either. So yeah, got to wait around. 1 o'clock in the morning, why not? So the good news is there was only one dead in the bag, and you know, I'm not really seeing any on the ground or anything like that, so, well, that guy's not doing so hot. But in general, I think he's just deformed. That's the problem, is he is actually just deformed from the farm. But I think these guys will recover. I'm going to get some meds in here, and then we'll work on getting the other stuff acclimated at the fish room at home. Alright, so I've let the shrimp kind of acclimate to temperature for about a half an hour at this point. I'm going to go ahead and open them up, and we're going to test water parameters. Even though I know these have been rebagged, give me something to go on, I guess, you know. I've never had great luck importing tigers and cherry shrimp, stuff like that. I can't figure it out. I've tried several times, so hopefully this will be the exception to the rule, whereas like a monos and, you know, some other types of shrimp I have no problems ever, but for some reason with these I'm having problems. And you know, I talk to people all the time, like other people are doing. I'm doing all the same things, but I haven't found either the right vendor or the right farm or whatever it is. So, you know, it's kind of still a learning process, really. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a quick reading on TDS. $214 in the bucket. I'm at 276 in the tank, and all the hardness from the tank is coming from the aragonite, so I think that's about as close as you can really get. And the problem is it's been rebagged, so I don't really know what the parameters are from the farm. So this is like, it's got to go with the gut instinct there. I'm going to take a quick reading just with a test strip real quick. Make sure I don't see anything like abnormally crazy. Yeah, it looks like just rebuffered water. So when they're shipping fish and they rebag, typically it looks like water that has baking soda in it or something like that. So you've got basically decently high pH mixed with lots of buffering capacity. And, you know, this water has probably only been there for, I don't know, 8-10 hours at this point, so there's not really anything in there. And so you kind of get this, well, water temperature the same, I'm as close as I can get with TDS, and unless you can get it direct from the farm, something like that, that's what you got to go with. So I'm going to start netting in, and really we won't be able to show anything until tomorrow morning, because just because I show you, oh look, there's 300 shrimp alive tonight, doesn't mean it's not a bloodbath tomorrow morning, which hopefully it's not. I'm hoping all this diatom algae you guys have seen in the live stream and stuff like that, it was grown intentionally for this, so that we could hopefully have lots of beneficial bacteria and Infusoria and stuff like that for them to graze on. And so yeah, I'm just gonna get to it. We'll see how it goes. Just net them in with a tiny little net, and you know, not one at a time, but little groups at a time. It looks to be like these guys are doing pretty darn good, which that's a good sign. You know, if they're doing well, essentially in the bucket or in the bag, that's your leg up for having them do better once they hit a tank. You can see here, like when we're talking to Lep Diesel and stuff like that, how some of them have that blue tint. That's how you get, how he thinks the royal blue tigers and stuff like that are made. And so I kind of just let them swim kind of out of the net. I don't jar them too much. I'm pretty much as delicate as I can be with them. And, you know, hopefully they will just thrive, which, you know, I've tried 75-gallon tanks, I've tried 40 breeders, I've tried 20s, I've tried full planet setups, I've tried non-planet setups, I've tried hard water, I've tried not hard water, I've tried, you know, but watching other people import these recently, I'm just like, there's got to be something that I'm doing wrong. And you know, the biggest tip I got lately is maybe it's temperature. I'm not acclimating temperature long enough, so I acclimated much longer, got them to the same temp. But yeah, if I can get that guy to let go, we'll continue on. Alright, so back in to grab another net full. And hopefully these guys will just breed, and you know, the goal would be I breed so many I never have to buy them again, but I don't want any to jump out here as I'm doing this. But yeah, just letting them come out. And the cool thing is, like, you know, if I can keep these alive, that's a nice looking one right there. If I can keep them alive and thriving and get them through quarantine and they don't have disease and stuff like that, you know, there's a lot of money in shrimp right here. I suspect these are all farm raised as well, because there's too much variation here, I think, to be wild. And there's a lot that I think are orange eye blue tiger culls, because I've been seeing the albino eyes on them. So yeah, they should, as long as I can get the water parameters right, and that's the hard part, is no one wants to tell you what they are, because no one knows except for the farm, and it's a language barrier, and you know, ooh, there goes part of a shrimp. That's not a good sign. But we'll get them to lift off here. Yeah, I'm gonna, I guess while these guys are trying to come out, I'm gonna set this camera back up so I can do it two hands and get this done a little faster, because I've still got cherry shrimp to do, and we've got Celestial Pearl Danio babies, essentially. That's what I'm gonna call them. I'm gonna call them fry, because they are not, you know, ready to rock and roll. So there's one left in the net here. Get that guy out, we'll go for some more. You can see, or at least I can see some kind of already grazing on the glass there. You can see them right here if it wasn't so much glare. But hopefully in a top-down scenario, you can kind of see, well, there's some swimming around. but you can see them on the rocks and stuff like that. We've got the light out because the timer's already out and may as well let them just be peaceful here. There's a lot of Anubias nana petite in this tank and algae, so hopefully they've got plenty to graze on. I'm going to close up the top and we'll move on. So here I kind of had to plug in a light because there's no lights on because it's the middle of the night obviously. But here's the cherry shrimp, and the TDS, because this comes from a different farm, is 303. So that's different. It could be that there's more ammonia because clearly there's dead shrimp and stuff in here. We're going to test the water parameters as well. Let me grab a test strip here and see what we can see real quick, and then we're going to start netting these out. At least there's some alive. That's always a good sign. Hopefully they just aren't too ammonia burned and things like that. Yep, unfortunately it looks just like the shipper, the transshipper's water, so they just rebagged it. Not a lot we can do. Start moving some of the netting. This is stuff for them to hold on to in transit. And then they've also got catappa leaves in there, which we're gonna, so in theory, this should be 200 grade A red cherry shrimp. And, we gotta separate out the living from the non-living, unfortunately. That's always a bummer. Come on out, little guy. So, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna spend the next 15 minutes separating shrimp. At least there's enough alive that we've got a chance. So that's always a good sign. The water looks brown like this from all the tannins from being shipped in. So, yep, and they're going in this 40 breeder right here. I know there's no light on it, but we'll evaluate in the morning. So, and then it's on to Celestial Pearl Danios. So now we've got the super red cherry shrimp in the tank. You can see here there's already casualties I missed during the netting. So they're gonna have to come back out, and I'm gonna get those out so that way I've got a fresh count like tomorrow morning to see if any more have died, which there's always gonna be some more that died, but the goal is that very few would have a problem. And I noticed this guy right over here. This looks like a parasite. I don't know if I can zoom in on that, but I want to know what that is. You see that on that shrimp? I haven't even began to diagnose if that's just something on its, something just on it, or if it's actual parasite or something. So I definitely got to look into him tomorrow, or her. And I can't get it to focus in with the poor lighting and the algae on the glass, but that's just some of the stuff we got to go through when we import that kind of stuff. It's not just it's not easy. I guess that's what I'm trying to explain here. Even though I can breed cherry shrimp and I can do all that, I can't breed enough for the store and that type of stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and pick these guys out. So here I am working on the Celestial Pearl Danios, and here's my question: is how long has some of these been dead in the bag? Because look how fungused up some of them are. Oh, it's getting out of focus, but that's, most of those aren't living in that pile. They're left in the net there. And some, that's got to be, a couple of days at this point? So they must have died right when they got put into the bag or something like that. And they're so small that, maybe they're just not handling, the shipping right. Because it's just, they're all swimming around, the ones that I've let out of the net so far. But this is a time-consuming process because you don't want to let any of the bodies really go in because they're really hard to get back out. You got to pick through, and you really want kind of an accurate count for the next morning so you know how well they did. There's really nothing I can do about it. Those are just casualties. But anything, that's dead tomorrow, beyond the first X amount is something I could have interacted with. So, I still got to get more out of the bucket, and I still got to medicate. And I'm going to keep working on that, but I just wanted to show you guys this part of it, the not glamorous part of sorting fish when you order them. So, yep, back to work. So meds are in the water. Now it's basically time for me to crawl in bed and wait till morning. Most of the fallout, if there's going to be fallout, will happen in the next 8 hours or so. At this point, let's see what time it is here. This point is basically 3 o'clock in the morning. And so you can see here when I say things like every minute in the bag is just going to cause more damage. It's stuff like this. So they had no heat pack. It's cold enough to be snowing, and I feel like my losses would be worse if I was to wait till morning. And most of my competitors and just stores in general, they'll go to the airport at a practical time. They go, well, most of the time they'll be okay if I show up at 10 a.m., 9 a.m., that type of thing. But I got them at basically 1 a.m., and that saved at least 8 hours in the bag and 8 more hours of cold weather. And so, you know, those kind of things happen. So I would guess they probably repacked 100 boxes, 200 boxes, 300 boxes today, and for whatever reason my box didn't get heat packs in the fish, and that's just kind of the way it goes. Luckily, Celestial Pearl Danios can handle a little bit cooler temperature. Lemon Tetras, pretty hardy during shipping, which is good. And then the shrimp, I really wish I had some heat for them, but you know, at least it wasn't clown loaches or rams or something like that. And so yeah, now I go to bed, and hopefully I wake up better mood, walk out here and everything's alive. I'll be singing good tunes. But if it's not good, it'll depress me all day long. This is the hardest part of the business, honestly, is investing all your money, seeing what comes out of it, and then making sure you can keep it alive. You know, Celestial Pearl Danios, for instance, I ordered 2 or 3 weeks ago the same like 200 count of them, and they were twice as big. And I had special orders in for a customer. They bought them all. Great, worked out awesome. Reorder them because my store is now sold out, and now I have like babies because no one's gonna buy that size. So, you know, there's always risk, and that's why stores make their money. Is we have to spread the risk out over lots of shipments, and you know, so lots of frozen food, lots of live food. We're gonna have to go into these Celestial Pearl Danios, and then hopefully all the shrimp pull through, and the plants, hopefully they're gonna do fine. And you know, hopefully I can get to sleep and wake up to some good news. So we'll see. Stay tuned. So here we go. It's the next morning. Here's kind of the aftermath. That's the netting we took out, the bucket, the net's still there. You know, I still got to rinse I'll end up rinsing the bucket and the net, all that kind of stuff, and just getting it kind of back to sterile, if you will. But here's the aftermath. You can see right here, and there's at least 2 right there. There's a 3rd one there, 4th one there, 5th one there. Looked like it was even buried up. Looks like we got a 6th one back there. So I got to kind of comb through this tank and find all the bodies, get them out of there. 7th one right back there on the gravel. So that's kind of important to get those out. But you know, I was expecting it to be a lot worse. So I think this is not that bad. That being said, I haven't moved like the log or the leaves or anything like that. So, you know, but we got some feeding. They look to be doing okay-ish. And so yeah, I'm not horribly disappointed or anything yet. There's still, you know, still probably 2-3 more days before we're out of the woods, so to speak. Looks like they're all doing well over here. And yeah, so I can't complain too much on that for not having heat packs, stuff like that. So next, let's go take a look at the Celestial Pearl Danios. And I haven't looked in there at all yet, so hopefully they're doing okay. And then I can start getting some food to them today. I think that's gonna be the key with those guys. It's a race. If I don't stay on it, they starve to death because they're so small. If I can keep the food going to them and change enough water, they should grow fast enough. We can get them for sale probably in a month, maybe a little bit more. But here's the aftermath of this right here. I already moved the bucket and stuff yesterday, so you can see the group of them here. They look okay. I mean, you can see that one struggling right there, not doing so well. But now it's just a critical getting them food, and now we kind of go throughout the gravel, and you kind of just look through. It doesn't look like there's many bodies in here at all, so that's good. Means I kept most of them out. When you saw last night in the net, I was able to keep the bodies out. So kind of a beneficial thing, in my opinion, to have these snails in here, because I'm going to have to really start overfeeding this tank to keep them eating. And you know, so the snails can clean up anything that gets to the ground, because they're not going to eat on the ground. But I'm going to grab some cyclops right now and start feeding and kind of show you guys, and hopefully we'll watch them eat, and that's always a good sign. So I've got the Cyclops cube, and normally I would just chuck it in and walk away, but since these guys are so small, they're not gonna eat it fast enough. I need it to really go around the water column, and that's one of the reasons why I am using the Cyclops. So what I have to do is I kind of have to melt it between my fingers and get it to move around, and the Cyclops should be of the right size for these guys. So they're starting to take it. Let me zoom in a little bit here, see if we can't get them actually eating. But it's basically, the goal is to fill this water column with the Cyclops and just let them hopefully gorge and eat. And you know, sometimes it's like they've only been in the water for what, maybe 10 hours at this point, so they might not even be ready to eat yet because there's meds in the water and they just got done traveling. And so, you know, it doesn't help that my hand's moving. But the important part about Cyclops is if you watch it come over here, it's lifting back up, and that's the important part, is it stays in the water column. That's very important because these guys only want to eat mid-water. And so you kind of, as you watch it come to the bottom, you see on the left-hand side of the screen there how it keeps lifting itself up. Just the Airstone can do that, so it's really nice. And that's one of the reasons I like Airstones and sponge filters, is if it was a big, powerful filter, one, it'd be hard for these guys to swim. Two, it might be sucking up some of these baby fish. And three, it would just be sucking down all this Cyclops that we want to kind of spin around in here for the next, you know, 20-30 minutes is what we really want. And you can kind of see here, it kind of comes down, moves over, and as you see, it lifts back up. So you get this nice swirling motion. Meanwhile, these guys can kind of just eat as they want. You know, they're not feeding very aggressive yet. They're still probably in the shock, but they've at least got the opportunity, and once they start, I can see some of them starting to take bites. That's an important step. And, you know, so we'll move on now to the tiger shrimp. See how they did? You know, they were doing a lot better in the actual bag, so I'm hoping for good results. It's really hard to know though, because water parameters are too far off, something like that, it could just be catastrophic. So over here we've got the tank, and obviously still a lot of algae, which I'm not going to knock that down and let them graze on it for at least, you know, probably a few days, get what they want out of it, because when shrimp come in, they come in at their hungriest, because they have to, well, they don't have to, but they end up starving them for shipping and stuff like that, and they're not really eating in the bag and that type of thing. So let's take a look, see if we can see anything in here. I'm not seeing like anything. I'm not even seeing shrimp really. So it looks like there's one body right down here, kind of by the glass. So there's a body. And so, oh, there's another one. Gotta get that one out too. So there's two so far. And then I might have to move some of these rocks, because if they crawl into the rocks and die or something. But here's what I find interesting, is like people don't realize how reclusive shrimp can be. So we're looking at this tank and we basically can't even see shrimp. It's 75 gallons, but we put 300 of them in here last night. 300. And yet you can almost, you know, like I can see a few, like there's one, and there's a couple, you know, and you go, okay, well maybe on the filter. Like there's none on the filter. There's not a lot to be seen. They're just hiding out. If you look back here, you can see a few on the rock there. So, you know, I would say overall, I'm happy with the shipment. I mean, not happy, like I wish I had heat packs, stuff like that, and I really can't make a determining factor for another few days, but I'm reasonably confident we're going to do okay. That's the hope. And, you know, time will tell. Got to watch water parameters, got to make sure we stop the bleeding, so to speak. I'm thinking about it last night. There was that one that had that weird thing on its rostrum, the nose of that shrimp, so I got to track that thing down, see did it die? Was it just something on the nose? Is it a parasite? You know, I got to get into that kind of stuff. But first, pulling the bodies and seeing what comes up with it. So if you guys enjoyed that, let me know down in the comments. I don't always film those because normally it's just so late at night, I'm so tired that filming it just makes it take even longer, but You know, bringing in shrimp, stuff like that. I haven't really shown that off too much, so I thought I would show it off. So thanks for watching, guys, and let's see, hopefully tacos for me today, and we'll see you in the next one.